7:30, so let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to share my screen to do a few happy things. So first, we will have the ringing of the bell to start the meeting.
Oh, look at the bell. That's classy.
So that one is a little larger than our normal rotary bell, but it still works. And we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Ron, if I could ask you to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag.
The flag
The United States of America.
to the republic
To
the
Republic
for which it stands,
one nation. For all.
Thanks, Ron. And last but by no means least, the old rotary four-way test. I have to caution you though, this is from a club in Australia, so it's going to be in Australian. Can you all see that one?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. I'll have to share that. Hang on. It's a funny. Oh, geez. Hang on. I'm. Stop share. That's what I need to do. I need to stop to share and then reshare. Here it is, the four-way test in Australian. You ready? Win if I can.
Oh, I get it now.
The four-way test.
Must be from down under.
It is. It is. So Win, if I could ask you to lead us.
The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do first.
Is it the truth?
True. Second. Is it
fair?
Third.
third?
Will it build good?
Build
better friendships.
And fourth?
Will it be
Beneficial to all.
To all concerned.
And for many of us, we add a fifth. Will it be?
Fun.
Have fun.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I always like to have a little bit of humor in the meeting, so we'll go with that. We're going to try something a little different today. We have not been doing Happy Bucks, but we're going to try to resurrect the concept of Happy Bucks. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Ted to go out and find the link for the donate button that is on our website. And he's going to share that in the chat here. If you have bucks, you can go in and you can donate through the donate now button. And there it is. So anyone happy? Who's happy? Who's happy? Who's happy?
Rick, you want to introduce our visitors first?
I was going to do that next, but sure.
Never mind.
We're going to get there. Let's do visitors then. So Ted, I'll have you introduce Joy and Win, and then we'll roll from there.
Well, we're delighted to have with us our past district governor, Win Schoenman, and our youth service chair from the Rotary Club of Hanalei Bay, Joy Bromst. And I also saw our speakers come online. Welcome to Ann Hettinger and Lahela Chandler Correa.
So Joy, I guess you know everyone else.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I felt this was a great opportunity to share the Aloha movement, and what an opportunity it is to have people Zoom in for a quick 20-minute presentation about what and how they do things here in Hawaii, and not only how they do things here in Hawaii, but how this could be a bigger picture for the universe.
Yes.
So can you tell us who you've invited?
Wow, the list is endless. How would you like me to do this? There are several people here from all over the world. I've invited Hong Kong. I've invited Australia. I've invited everyone I could possibly invite that I think would have an interest in see the need for children to be exposed to the Aloha movement and to be a conduit to others that that would also see this and resonate with the opportunity to have a different type of character building program in their area. And it's so important. And the teachers here on Kauai are doing a phenomenal job going through these lessons with this Aloha book. And so I'm really not sure how you want me to, my parents are here, my sisters are here, my friends from rowing, my friends from teaching, my friends from all walks of life, people that I've just met on the street and shared with them about this program that I feel is so important. I think this is just like our life sling that we've been able to embrace here at Rotary, to try to get a life sling in every beach. I think this Aloha book needs to be in every classroom and every child's hands. So I'm sorry, I like I said, I have friends from all over the world. If we wanted to say, who are you? We can go for it.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of folks. Yeah, you just tell us who you are, where you're from, and why you're here. So Penny, we'll start with you because you're in my upper right corner.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm here because I'm a friend of Joy's, and I was a teacher for almost 38 years at the elementary school level, teaching second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade, mostly combination classes at two different schools, one down at, well,
There we
three.
go. There we go.
Maybe, I don't know.
Three different schools, maybe four. I started it down in Danville, moved down to San Ramon, taught there for 20 years, and then moved up to Alamo.
Oh,
So
welcome.
pretty much white community,
Yeah.
no diversity at all.
There you go. I'm going to go with Albergate.
Yeah, you had to mention that.
Hi, I'm a friend of Joy from the Hanalei Canoe Club. I
Yeah.
live with my wife in Princeville. We've been here since 2013. We're from Southern California.
I am going to get out of this.
And Bill Pence.
Yes, I'm husband of Penny Ricks. I was in education for 34 years and high school level in AP biology and marine biology. And Joy was my boss as a vice principal then. And I'm welcome to, I'm very happy to be aboard here. Most definitely to see if we can share what the Aloha movement, how it could be applied in San Ramon Valley in the East Bay of San Francisco Bay Area. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
I'm going to try to mute everyone here. Hang on one sec, and then we'll unmute. And here we go. So what we've got is everyone's muted now. When you're ready to talk, you can unmute yourself in the upper right corner of your window. So let's go with Gene Bingham. Gene Binghaman. Binghaman. Sorry.
Mute.
There
we go. Okay, got it. Okay, yes, I am Jeannie Bingaman. I am Joy's sister. I've known her all my life. And I'm very interested to hear what she has to say. I have several very young grandchildren that I'm interested to hear this program, and hopefully she'll send literature to them.
Great, welcome. We're going to go with iPhone, which is the three folks, which I assume is your parents.
Yeah, that's right. I'm Joy's sister, Julie. I have her mom, Nancy, and her dad, Robert. And Dad and I are Kiwanians, so we're kind of crashing your party. But
that's okay.
We're very interested in hearing this program, and also getting the opportunity to see my little sister is always great. Mom and Dad taught Joy pretty much everything she knows.
That's the plan.
Is that right, Joy?
Okay. We're going to go with Paul Ahmed, who I don't know who you really are, but I'll unmute you. Oh, I can't unmute you. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Diana Meyer. I'm a friend of Joy's. I paddle with her, as well as I'm very good friends with Lahela and Ann that are giving the talk, which is why I wanted to be here. I've been in Hawaii for 14 years now, enjoying my retired life. Thank you.
Great. Welcome. And Nani Manning. You're still muted.
Mute.
There you go.
How's that? Okay. So my name's Nani Manning, and I live born and raised in Hawaii on the North Shore of Oahu, and I moved back there when I retired. So I have a house there and a couple houses in Seattle. So I'm in Seattle right now, locked down with my family. But I'm a friend of Joy's. I paddle with her, distance races, and she's beat me many times. Anyway, so yeah, so she called and asked me to be on here, and I'm honored.
Welcome. Stu, who's probably not really Stu.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Hey, Stu.
Hey, hi you guys. So my name is Kimberly Stewart, and I have lots of nicknames, partially because I was a teacher for a long time, and so yeah, I got called all kinds of lovely names. I know Joy from paddling as well. I'm, as I said, a teacher of a few decades. I recently kind of semi-retired. I still teach online and substitute teach primarily, I think, at the elementary level. I used to be also an AP biology, environmental science teacher. I love everything I've heard from Lahela and Anne and know a little bit about it. And I also love that Joy was thinking of us as conduits of aloha, and I will be anxious to learn anything else I can about how to act in that way.
Cool. Welcome. Janet Nathanson. Janet, you're muted if you're trying to talk. Okay, we'll go to Fran McDonald and we'll try to come back to Janet.
Hi, I'm Fran McDonald. I live in Kalaheo. I'm a friend of Joyce. He invited me, also a paddling friend. And I live on the South Shore in Kalaheo.
Ah, awesome. So do we. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Louise Barnfield.
Hi, I'm Louise, also a paddler friend of Joy's, and have followed what Lahela and Anne have been doing with the Aloha movement for a long time now, and always delighted to see and hear them speak and to support them. I'm here in Princeville as well.
Great, great. The other Joy Bromst. There's a second Joy here. You don't, there you go.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when my spouse takes over my brand new computer. It replaces my name with hers. My name is Lynn Christensen, and I'm also a friend and admirer of Lahela and Anne. And this book is something truly special. I've never seen anything that captures the heart and soul of Joy before as much as this book. It's something she's just like 24/7 thinking about. It must be really special and really magical. I've read them all, and I just want to hear Lahela and Anne from their hearts speaking to all of us about the spirit and essence and the messages that can be delivered to not only us today, but the broader community as well.
Great, welcome. Tom Melberg.
Good morning, aloha. I'm from Princeville. I'm a friend of Lynn and Joyce, and I'm here to learn about the movement. I have no prior understanding of it, so I'm interested to be here to learn more about it today.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
And I also see Madeline Melberg.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm not on camera. This is early for me, and I'm not camera worthy. So excuse me for that. But I'm also a friend of Lynn and Joy's, and married to Tom, who you just heard from. And we just moved to Princeville in November, and very interested in hearing what this is about. Don't really have a context for it. but honored to be here. And we are on day 9, I think, of quarantine after returning from the mainland.
Yeah.
So,
well, we got the quarantine party going here. That's kind of awesome. Yeah.
so
And
thank you for
Keisha.
including me.
Oh, sorry. Keisha. Keisha? There you go.
Keisha. Joy from paddling, and I live in California, and I just wanted to hear more about whatever it is that she invited me to listen to.
Oh, welcome. Janet, it looks like, can you unmute? We'll see if we get you. There you go.
Yes, here I am. Sorry. It was a little complicated for a second. Anyway, I am here because Joy invited me. I live in Poipu, so she thought that I would be interested to hear what was going on. I have a lot of respect for Joy, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to be hearing about, but if she asked me to join, I thought it was important to be here.
Okay, welcome.
Thank
I
you.
think that's everyone. If I've missed you, let me know. Sorry. It's hard because Zoom moves people around. As I move from screen to screen, it moves people around, so it's a little confusing. And Craig, yes.
I have a guest to introduce.
Yeah.
Waylon Brune was here.
Welcome, Waylon.
Waylon from Collar Hill.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, so let's welcome all of our guests with a great big Rotary Club of Poipu Beach. Aloha. Of course, most everyone was muted when you said that, but we saw your mouths move, so it still counts. So Ted, can I do happy bucks now? Okay, who's happy?
I'm happy.
Okay, Rodney's happy.
Oh, I'm happy that Craig and who else came?
Waylon.
Waylon and Claude and I pressure washed the pavilion at Kukiolono, ready for some paint. We did about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of scraping, and luckily we had the volunteer help of Waylon. Happens to have a company that does a lot of cleaning and stuff, specializing in hoods. So if you need your hood cleaned, give them a call. So yeah, I'm happy. There's my buck.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's pretty great that we did that. And as Ted pointed out, the link that he sent, the sagepayments.net, you can use that, and you can use a credit or debit card. You'll have to put it in once. After that, it will store it, and then you can keep just being happy. Who else is happy? If you're happy, just unmute yourself. I saw that you were happy, I thought.
Lahela. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm happy.
That's good. Being happy is always a good thing, isn't it? I mean, yeah. Happy Bucks are a Rotary thing where we acknowledge something that has recently happened that's just made us happy. And, you know, it's okay to just also say, I'm happy just because, doggone it, I'm happy. So let's go with that one. Cool. Joy.
Thank you so much. I am overwhelmed with happiness, with the love that I've seen here with all my friends and family showing up to hear about the Aloha movement, and hopefully be, as Kimberly just so elegantly said, a conduit to bring this movement to their area. And I'm happy. $20, so I will definitely get that $20 into your donation donation pot, and of course I hope that will maybe lead to happiness towards Aloha movement.
There you go. And I'm gonna be happy because even though I'm in quarantine in Hawaii, and you know, if you got to do it, this is not a bad place. We can still get out on our lanai. And we also have a very good friend in Ron who is stopping by the post office and picking up our mail for us and dropping it off. So we very much appreciate that as well. Tom.
It'd probably be mostly old timers who all know Detchen
from an exchange student from, I want to say 13, 14 years ago. She is pregnant with her first child.
Wow.
So I wanted to pass that along.
That's pretty awesome. All right. Anyone else happy? If you are, just unmute yourself and start talking, because I can't see everyone on one screen.
Well, I just got back from the mainland, so I'm on quarantine for about the 6th day. And I'm really happy this morning because I haven't seen so many people now in a week since I left California. And many of them are people I know personally and are great people. And I know this is a great program, and I'll be happier in about 8 days when I can actually walk off my property and see people in person. But thank you for inviting me, Joy, and to Rotary.
Sure. All right. So if you're happy and you know it, raise your hand or just speak up. Otherwise, I'm going to move on. Okay, I'm going to move on. Rodney touched on one of the projects that we're doing this year, which is work at the pavilion at Kukuyalono Park. We had done some work last year there. They had moved their bathrooms over to be handicapped accessible. And that required some restructuring of walls and stuff, and they needed some painting done. So we said, well, we could do that. And while we were there, and we were having an offsite meeting there as well, we noticed that the pavilion and such could stand a new coat of paint as well. So we said, why don't we take that on as another project? And so what they did over this past weekend was they went up and did some cleaning, painting, scraping, and pressure washing in preparation for the painting project. So the painting project is not this Saturday and Sunday, but next Saturday and Sunday, the 29th and the 30th. And everyone is welcome to join us. We're going to be socially distanced, of course, wearing masks and all, but we can definitely do that with the painting. And we're going to be starting at 9 o'clock both Saturday and Sunday. And we will paint until we are all painted out. And those of you who have been to that pavilion know two things probably. One is, man, does it have an amazing view. I mean, you can see all the way to Niihau, and it's a spectacular view. So again, not a bad place to have to do some work. And the other thing is there's a whole concrete block area there that has all this intricate inside detail and stuff. So painting it is going to take some effort, but that's what we're all about. So the more the merrier, and we can definitely appreciate the help. And the plan that we're looking at here is to do some more work with the park over the course of the coming year. There's some trail maintenance, some signage and things like that we might take on for them. Because that park, those of you who live on the South Shore, I would hope you've been there. If not, it's on Pu'u Road, just off of Papalina here in Kalaheo. And it is a beautiful park, 9-hole golf course, good little restaurant too. Just put a plug in for tacos. And it was donated to the county and is something that doesn't really make a whole lot of money, but we can help them out with making it a nicer and better place for everyone. We also are working on a project where we'll be doing some work with Habitat for Humanity, both because Habitat is a Rotary partner, but also we have 2 of our members who have a friend who has been granted a home at the Habitat build out that's in LA here. And so we're going to be working on that as well. So that there will be details on that forthcoming. Ron, I'm gonna just ask, is there anything that you want to update about the auction? And no is an okay answer.
The committee met online this past week, and we have decided to move forward with the online auction for those items that we have in hand, along with one certificate for the safari. And we're planning to take the auction live the first week of October, but more information will be coming out later.
Yeah. And thanks, Ron, and the rest of the committee for the work on that. This, for those of you who need a little background, we had gathered items for our silent auction that was supposed to be held at our One Fine Evening event last year. It seems like a year ago, doesn't it? back in March. And the day before the event was supposed to happen was when the mayor put a stay-at-home order in place. So we had to cancel the event, and therefore, of course, the auction got canceled. We have both items that are actual tangible items, but we also have a lot of gift certificates. And as you might expect with the gift certificates, we're kind of holding off on that because some of those companies, some of them are already out of business and some of them may be moving out of business. So we're trying to be mindful of that as well. But yeah, it'll be great. We'll have that up online and we will get information to all of you so that you can go out and start bidding. It's not like voting. You can bid early and you can bid often. So please do, and know that this is one of the big fundraisers that we have for our club, and this will really help us out over the course of the year. All right, I think we're ready to have our presenters present.
Online.
Sure. So, Joy, if I could ask you to introduce our speakers.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I'll just make it really quick. Lynn did a phenomenal job of expressing how much I think this movement is important. They have been fortunate enough to find funding for all of the schools over here on the North Shore. We're trying to seek funding for Kapa'a Elementary School and a few schools in on the South Shore, and then hopefully we're going to head to the west and the west side as well and find funding for those schools. So today we're here to reach out to Poipu Rotary to help us fund two of the elementary schools right there in your community. So I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to leave it up to Ann and Lahela, and thank you again for allowing them to speak at your just amazing club. Thank you.
Good morning. And again, thank you all. I'm not used to Zoom, and I just realized I still have the tape on my little video cam. So I just would like to say, number one, my name's Ann Hettinger, and I'm also here with Lahela Chandler Correa, and we are the founders of Aloha Publishing Hawaii, which was founded in 2015, and Aloha Movement Kauai, which is a designated 501(c)(3) nonprofit, which we established in 2016. We started Aloha Publishing in 2015 with this, can you see this? Book. This was our very first book that we started with. Through this journey, we've always turned to our educators and our kapuna for feedback, suggestions, guidance. And through that feedback, we realized we needed to create an upper and a lower elementary book. Oh, thank you, Joy. Beautiful. And so as you can see on the left is a picture of Makana. That's our third edition of Aloha, What It Means to My Ohana and Yours, which is our upper elementary book, which is geared for grades 3 through 6. On the other side, oh, we lost it, is the picture. This is the one with the hale. This right here. And this is Aloha, What It Means to My Ohana, which is the lower elementary, and it's geared towards grades K through 2. We are currently in public schools on Kauai, Oahu, Hawaii Island, some summer camps, homeschools. We actually have a few on the mainland. All the books are based on the lessons of Aloha, and these values written in these books come from Lahela Chandler Correa, her ohana, and her upbringing on the island of Kauai. Sorry, I get teary-eyed when I even say it. That being said, it is my honor to introduce Lahela so that she can share her story with all of you. Lahela!
Everybody can hear me? You guys can hear me? No?
I can't. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I heard you before. I think you just went on to mute.
Yeah.
Now you're muted.
Now
we
you
heard you before.
Okay, what about now?
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, mahalo. Hi, aloha, kakahiaka, everyone. I'm at Limahuli right now at the garden, so I'm doing this here. Oh, I was getting a butterfly, but mahalo for the time you guys are giving us to be able to share about this special book that we have. It's actually for everyone, not just the keikis, but it's also for the adults. I was born and raised here on Kauai in Wainiha. It's up in the valley. I've come from a sibling of 15 children. I'm number 13 in the line. I see plenty my aunties out there with the canoe club. We've been very much involved with community. My parents also come from a big family and from Wainiha and Haena. There's Francis and Kapeka Chandler. So you can know about myself and what about myself here. I have 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. I live in Wainiha as well. I work with Limahuli Garden. I'm the manager with the visitor program here. I run the gift shop and the tours. Besides still taking care of my kids and everybody else. I just want some background about myself. I see a lot of Hanalei Canoe Club members. We were raised in there. My parents were one of the founders that organized and supported the Hanalei Canoe Club and raised all of us in the canoe club, down to the youngest. We have 10 boys and 5 girls in my family, so more boys. And also my parents came from a big family as well, and really instilled with us, you know, when I thought about doing the book, and I can get emotional. It never ends. That's why I don't like to do interviews or presentation, because I'm emotional. Instilled with us the real essence of Aloha. Hanalei Canoe Club was one of the biggest places that that helped. Well, that my parents were involved, because had so much of the kids. You know, you could fill up a canoe already with just what they had, and church, of course, is a big thing, and being just with the community and raising their bunch of kids. I have 4 kids of my own. They all have graduated Hanalei School in Kapa'a High. I work for Limahuli Garden. I'm the manager for here. This is really where I met Anne, who is amazing and a good partner in this. But what we're trying to do is to really spread. I know that it's hard for a lot of us, especially for us Hawaiians, to come out and do this, because we're so emotional and we feel like, you know, we're not smart and we need to speak on top of this. But I made it a goal to that this is important, that everyone should know. And this is not only Hawaii, but it should reach beyond. The world needs to know what Aloha is. It's not just hello and goodbye. It's more than that. It's being part of the community and helping not only people who live here, but also who comes here, who moves here. That's the blessing of coming here, is you feel part of as a family, and these beautiful values. The booklet has, you know, it can go on, but we really have to, the book would be like one Bible, you know, but we can't do the book like that and be able to really touch to get, everybody needs this. So in the book has all these values, character building that help me, my how I was raised. And when me and Ann got together, you know, I was like, oh, how would we do this? I said, if anything I wanted to do while I'm here is to create something like this that can impact everyone. First was for everyone, but really it can start with the keikis, because they're our future. And everybody needs this. You know, we was never rich, or because we had so much of us, but the values of my parents, what they taught us was by their actions. It wasn't that I'm going to read it in a book or anything, but was how every day. So I was raised like, you know, we farmed. We had a taro farm, had more boys than girls. And how to work as a team, how to love others, not to be judgmental, how to be responsible, be helping others. So we came up with all this, what is the character building for an individual. And this, I know it's not only just for here, it's for everywhere. And so my parents, if you was able to have met them, they were amazing, because they did it not because they was forced to do things. Everything was just done because they saw what the help needed. Hanalei Canoe Club is a huge place where all of my siblings were able to participate as a family, and my parents were able to be there alongside with us, not just like drop us off and leave us there, but showed us by examples. I have 4 of my own kids. Until I have my own kids, I realized, wow, I don't know how my parents had handled all of us and never went into the cuckoo house. But if you got to meet my parents, you know, I want to show one picture. If you guys can see, I have to use the umbrella. This is our matriarch. Her name was Auntie Kapeka Chandler. She was a Mahuiki. Also, both of my parents came from large families. I think my father was 14 of them, and my mom was 10 siblings. I'm getting, sorry, my heart is pounding. It's out here. Get back inside. So keeping me on track is, it's really how I was raised. I know today's time, it's so much different how the children is not being connected, because they all gotta, you know, the parents have to work to survive here. Francis and Kapeka also was born and raised down here on the North Shore. A big involvement with the Hanalei Canoe Club is where we all was raised as sports in that canoe club to this day. And I mahalo them for that. I work at Limahuli. About 6 years ago is how we connected up with Anne and shared how to share this, how important it is. I was so blessed with my parents to ground me. And instill me inside of me what true aloha is. And not how to be judgmental, even though you're not of blood, but aloha comes in many forms. You don't have to be born here to have that. But today is a challenging time for our kids to know who they are and how important they are to save everyone. And my parents got to instill that in us. We never realized it when we were young, but until we had our own families, I understand. I don't know how they did it, raising all of us 15 when it was difficult, you know, during that time, and not being wealthy. You know, they wasn't wealthy in things. They had land, but the most beautiful thing they had is those qualities. And I share that in the book of how each kid can learn, even us as adults. It's not only for the kids, but it's a reminder also for the adults of how to be and how to appreciate when you instill all these qualities in yourself, and how to be supportive in your own community. That's the beauty of the Hawaiian culture. It embraces, and that's how I was taught. It embraces all. Doesn't matter where you come from. Each person is special and unique, and our culture and our the upbringing of that is shared inside of the booklet. and keep me on track. As you know, I got the umbrella because the sun is beaming here.
All right, I just unmuted myself.
To shade me here, I'm at Limahuli. And that's why, you know, I'm in my 50s now, and what can I do to make a difference? This is how this was created, and Anne was my angel that came here. I did one of her groups and shared her women group that she does. And this is how we kind of look at the picture of, you know, me and Anne, how we connected, and I just shared with her in her group. Yeah. And from there on, this is how she was like, this must be shared. This is so needed. Yeah. And that's how we connected up and said, well, let's make a difference. If anything I can do, I want to give back. Is I was blessed to have an amazing parents. I miss them dearly because today's times is so challenging for our kids. And they lose this quality about not always trying to be in the rat race or be better than others. Is that they don't have to be like that. And that's why it's so hard for me to want to talk, because I'm emotional. But this is the real me, and all the Hanalei clowns can tell is like, oh, that's her. And so it's very difficult. But I want to make a difference. And through this, we all can make a difference. It's not just what our goal was for me and Anne. You got to share this. We have to empower. You know, I thought the adults, I really wanted to do the adults because they needed it. But really, it starts with the keikis. They're the future. There is where we want to make them know they're worth everything. They are worth to be whatever they want to be and to help wherever they're at and make a difference.
And that's why we started the books. That is why we reached out. And again, you know, Lahela is speaking from, we met, yes, at Limahuli, and I was doing women's groups, and she shared her aloha one day. And it touched these women in such a way that they just were like going, well, how do we share that? And I kept getting that. And I just went to Lahela and I said, Lahela. And a dear friend of ours said, you know what, not the adults, start with the keiki. So we went, that's a good idea. So that's when we created the Aloha books. And for myself, I will personally say I have 7 grandkids. And because I have 7 grandkids, I look at our world today and I think, you know, all these values are also universal values. You know, kuleana's kuleana, you know, it's, you know, responsibility. But it's a universal value. And to me, we are losing so much of it in this world. So it's just my privilege and my honor to work with Lahela and share where she comes from, where all this comes from. So that being said, I will roll into our educational portion, how our books are working right now. So not only do these books provide an educational tool for your school, but also supports the Hawaiian culture, character development, social emotional health, education here in Hawaii, and also on the mainland. They are, and this is one thing we are very proud of, they're 100% locally made. They are printed here, they are illustrated here, they're designed here, they're edited. I think we are the only publisher in the state of Hawaii that actually print here in the islands. And it was really pretty neat because recently we print on Oahu because we don't have printers large enough here on Kauai. And when we sent a job, we had a job they reprinted our lower elementary book this summer. And the printer came back to me and he said, you know what? He said, I got to tell you, my guys are so excited to do this book here in our printing because it gave them work. So we're very proud of the fact that we're helping employ people here in the islands. So that being said, what I'd like to share also is how this current program is implemented in different ways, because every school is different. Every school has different needs. Every school has different socioeconomic, I mean, everything's completely different. So what we did, again, through the guidance of teachers and educators in Kapuna, we created these different ways to implement the use of the book in each school. So I'm just going to kind of run through that list with you. These 14 lessons of Aloha it's a simple yet it's powerful. The format of the book itself is easy. There's 14 lessons. Both the upper and lower elementary have those same lessons, but it is done according to the grade level. So I'll just show you. Here's like a copy. This is the lower elementary book we just redid. And in it, it is, I don't know if you can see that, it's Aloha is Malama. All right, so what we did is we highlighted in this particular book, the Hawaiian Paniolo. Very few people here realize that the Hawaiian Paniolo, the cowboy, came originally from Hawaii. I mean, so it's really kind of, so every time we introduce, not only it's the cultural pieces, there are Hawaiian words highlighted throughout the book, but it's also the values. We explain it, we go through each one, we give an explanation, we give them, they can go then do questions and answers, activities. So we're engaging them on all fronts. So what is happening during this time of COVID, which is really nice about this book, I was just at Kapa'a Elementary yesterday, and they're so excited to start getting some books in there because the books create flexibility. So it can be used in their classroom, at school, or it can be taken home for their lesson plans, and then they can share it via the internet. So they still have a tool to work in. It's not just all on the computer. And the teachers love this right now. And it really, and the kids do too. They love working in these and coloring and drawing. So that's one of the huge things right now. For one of the first applications is the tool is used to support Nahopena A'o. And Nahopena was a Hawaii Board of Education Policy 3E that came out in about 2015 when we started with our original book. So it was kind of interesting. It was kind of looked as a tool that could also help support Nahopena. And I'll show you Nahopena, it's these statements. And you can look it up too, but it talks about, being in Hawaii. But these are posted in all the schools around all the islands. That's Nahopena. The second way we can support is we support Alelo Hawaii. So we're supporting Hawaiian language. That has been a huge push. I don't know how many of you are familiar with a lot of the history in Hawaii, but for many years, they were not allowed to speak, read, write their own language. And so that was not until like 1978 when you look at it and you think that's crazy, which is why so many do not know their own language. So this book, through the words that we introduce, again, is an introduction, and from there can be expanded upon. Next is we call it building character through Aloha. It is the 14 lessons of Aloha that are taught in the classroom. It becomes a character guide for kids individually and as the entire classroom, which helps develop their social emotional well-being. And I'll give you an example. We've got a teacher, a first grade teacher now that has down in Honolulu that has used these books from the very first year. And she tells us, I can't even start my classroom without these books because it sets the tone for kindness, respect, kuleana. All the values are in the book. And it's really, I mean, and you can see when you walk into her classroom, it revolves around that. So it's really beautiful. We've now seen it. We've got history. Next, it can be used for a book. I don't know, again, if you're aware, in 4th grade here in Hawaii, they study Hawaiiana. And so a lot of the teachers here love the book for Hawaiiana studies. Again, the teachers can use it as their base and then expand. The values also in this book can be taught directly or expanded through the Kapuna program. The Kumu can go more in depth into the cultural aspects and provide an even deeper meaning and examples of each Hawaiian value. And that's the other thing, we have, again, I'm back to that thing of some schools use it in different ways, some schools use it in multiple ways. But we've had a lot of kumus that have said, wow, this gives me a guide. So they start with it and they have so much knowledge that they have this guide to go by, but then they bring in all these things that they share about the culture. So it's neat to see it being used in that way. Counselors can utilize the book for social emotional learning and support in a time when it's needed more than ever. Through the values of Aloha, we can help our students cope and thrive. And Kaloa is a perfect example. Marissa Miyashiro is the counselor down there, and she has utilized these books for her social emotional for counseling with the kids. The book also supports all the DOE standards. The GLOs can be used in the classroom for writing, reading, social studies, Hawaiian studies, arts, and above all, a platform to share their questions, create their own answers, questions and answers, and communication. Wonderful, you know, I mean, it's, instead of doing everything on it gets communication. We have a piece in the book we do the lesson, and then we have a little thing at the bottom called Ohana time. The Ohana time is a thing that we'll say, well, go home and maybe have a new tradition with your Ohana. We'll have a suggestion. So it not only is being incorporated in the school system, the goal is for these children to take it home and share it with their Ohana. And it's really, and what's really neat is some of the teachers will have like an Ohana time. They'll say, okay, so what did you and your Ohana, what's the new thing? So it's really a wonderful way to not just be in the schools, to broaden out to the community. Super important. And then of course it's used locally for social studies. And that's the other fun thing. It's also used on the mainland for social studies. I actually took the book to my fourth grade, my grandson who's in fourth grade in Colorado. And I took all the students in his fourth grade a set of books. And we shared it, and the teacher, and we shared, and so we passed them out. And so it was unbelievable because the kids were I said, does anybody know any Hawaiian words? Does anybody know what Ohana means? And of course, you know, all the kids raised their hand. They're like going, oh, that's family, you know, and they were so excited. They were asking questions like, oh, do kids go to school on the beach? You know, I mean, the enthusiasm, again, for learning. And I think that's the other thing, Aloha for kids, and I'll use this, is cool. So it's a wonderful way to engage these kids in these values. And again, I go back to these values. They are universal values. So it's really, you know, and I've had a few instances like that. We've had a few schools on the mainland ordering the books. And then last, I would like to also share, it is a foundation for project-based learning, which has become a big push here, I know, in the schools here on Hawaii. And one of the things, we had a situation, Holualoa Elementary School is on the Big Island. And they were using our books, the Kumu, and they had a lesson which was Aloha. They were in the lesson, Aloha is hope. And so when they were doing that lesson, the Kumu, we were also going through the flood at the time here on the North Shore. And so the Kumu says, okay, she goes, what can we do for those students? What can we do to give them hope? So they all created these little heart-shaped Aloha magnets. And it had these, they painted them, they put Aloha, they shipped them here. And at the time, Tahara Stein was the principal at Hanalei. Shipped them to all the kids at Hanalei. They distribute them, and Tahara, I mean, it was so beautiful because the kids were looking at these and they go, oh, they couldn't believe that a child, another student on the Big Island was thinking about them. So we, in return, when Kilauea erupted on the Big Island, Kua'okala was burned down. They lost their school. Many of these students lost their homes in Puna. So then I went to Hanalei School. I said, okay, our turn. How do we give them hope? So we, Lahela and I, and a bunch of the kids, we went to different grades. We did after school. We created our Aloha is Hope heart magnets. But we added one little thing they were packaged in cards, and on the back of the card, we also included a picture. And I had all the kids draw pictures. And they said, well, what do we draw? I said, I want you to draw a picture of something that will make you smile. And they did. We had surfing dragons, you name it. We had everything. It was beautiful. We packaged those up, and Lahela and I flew over to the Big Island, met up with Shala from the Kumu from Holualoa. We all had Aloha hearts. We had a donation for books, and we drove, first time I've ever driven over that highway, over to Hilo side, and we delivered these books to Kua'okala. And I still get chicken skin because it was just so beautiful to see something that was started years ago, and now it was full circle. And that, again, is what is so huge and what this is all about. And again, that's just one sample, because any teacher, any educator, there's so many ways you can expand on this. So that being said, I would like to say the other thing that we do find, and I'll wrap it up, is we found that, especially because we have an influx of a lot of new students right now and new teachers, and they receive these books, and it's really a way for them to learn more about the culture and feel more accepted. We get emails from new teachers, and they share with us, they say, you know what, thank you so much for creating this, because it's really taught us more. So when they go into their classroom, they have a little bit more of a feeling for what Hawaii is all about. So yeah, so that being said, I'm just, in closing, would like to say we're very excited about how far we've come and how much more we need to do. And with your help, we can continue sharing aloha. And, honestly, right now, our world needs it more than ever. So mahalo, and for having us here today.
Yes, mahalo.
Mahalo, and love you, Lahela. And so then, so we would like to open it up, I think, if it's okay for us to say to any questions that we might have from anybody listening out there.
Absolutely. If anyone does have questions, I see a few in the chat. One of the questions was, is the series available as an ebook?
No. and I say and I say that because we will never have, people have asked us that, and we will never have it as an ebook, because if you look through this book is meant to write in, it's meant to color in, it's meant to interact in.
Yes.
You cannot do that in an ebook.
Yes.
A book is meant, that's just our personal feeling, is meant to be a book. And especially, like I said, you're looking at, you're coloring, you're drawing, you're writing, you're connecting. I mean, we've gotten videos of kids in classrooms, like Trinity Christian uses it on Oahu. Oh my gosh, the kids get so creative. That is why. Yeah.
Okay. And the other question from Dottie was, how do we buy the books? I'll just share with you, Dottie. Well, first of all, alohapublishinghawaii.com. We'll give you all the information you need. They are for sale. I know, Lahela, you're at Limahuli, but I bought a book at NTBG Garden down here on the South Shore, because I've given it to my little cousin, who I know she brought it to her school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So we've spread it that far east, at least. But they are available at a bunch of different bookstores. And can you do online ordering as well? I don't know.
Yes, we do have on Aloha Publishing Hawaii. If you go there, there is a store you can purchase. And also, I would like to say, we do give a big discount for education. For all schools, homeschools, etc., there is an educational discount, absolutely. So they just get in touch with us, and we will go ahead and give them the amount for that, correct, yes. Oh, absolutely. And that's why we have the Aloha Movement Kauai. The nonprofit is to help raise funds, because we are facing, right now, due to COVID, I mean, schools are just like, they're having to use money for safety, it's just so, they are so appreciative right now of everyone's help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other questions from anyone?
One.
There you go, Penny. Now we
I have one. Does the state of Hawaii have a curriculum that is the umbrella curriculum for each grade level? Like if you're in third grade, in fourth grade, you have to teach Hawaiian history, or third grade, you have to teach, families and communities, or do they have anything, do they have something like that? Or does each community, is there one school district is what I'm saying? Is there one school district in Hawaii, or have they changed that so each island is its own school district?
No, there is, I mean, there's a set of standards, that are for Hawaii, oh, absolutely, and that's the other thing too. So when we did this and we work with curriculum, we also created those standards that are in tune with, the Hawaii standards. So again, but every school, what's unique, well, I don't know what's unique, but every school has that flexibility of utilizing the books as they see fit within their school system.
And does each island have its own individual school district?
Yes, so in other words, like for instance here, Kauai, we have our own superintendents. Okay. Each island has their own superintendent, and then Christina Kishimoto is the head of all the islands.
Yeah, they really still only have one school district, Hawaii, but on each of the islands, they do have local people that are in charge of what goes on that particular island, but it's still one big school district.
Okay.
I just wanted to add, and Ann touched on it, as a retired administrator and teacher, the biggest component that really, where I coming from, is that teachers want this book. It's not something that is forced upon them, and it really resonates with them, and it gives them the opportunity to do some character building that isn't always embedded in the curriculum. And I think that's, for me, I'm going to get all teary-eyed. That's the most important piece, is having an opportunity to build character through Aloha. I mean, wow, it's just so exciting. And that's why I'm on board. And now I have a platform through Rotary to try to be a partner with this movement. And I hit the ground running, as I'm sure Ann can tell you. I'm very excited about it, and I'm very excited to get their message to the world, because it needs to be. It needs to be.
I think that it can be adapted to, I mean, I think it's a really positive input. I think it's a great tool for especially elementary school teachers as part of the program that I saw. But I also think that in many ways, it could be adapted to other states and other kinds of, you could do something like this in Oregon or in Idaho, and you could just adapt it. It's a sort of a wonderful template, actually, for so many possibilities.
I would agree with that. Of course, I've never done elementary school, so I have a little more, I need help from you folks, your elementary school teachers, with regards to the adaptation, because I'm thinking of a classroom here in Oakland, California, where it's going to be mostly Black and Latino students. And I'm trying to think of this teacher of trying to, are these kids even going to give a rip about Hawaiian terms and language? However, having just said that, I'm thinking, well, the teacher might say, we can kind of do two birds with one stone. That is, they can learn a little bit about Hawaii with these terms, and which of course translate to these values, which are our universal values. And then maybe the application part and the creative part on the teacher is they can say to their students, again, let's take the example of a primarily classroom of Black students, and say, okay, well, here's the term they have for that value in Hawaii.
Right.
What term might we come up with for that same value in our Black community? Something like that is what I'm thinking. Anyway, but yes, I think this is really wonderful. My hat's off to all of you for this creation of this book. And I also like the comments where you said this one teacher was starting her classroom with a value to character build, and that somehow became a nice basis to then start the rest of the day or lesson. So I think that can have application through all different demographics.
And you know what, and I'd like to just reply to that. Thank you, because I think you're absolutely correct. Like in the book, like when we show, like there's a page with greetings, right? And we talk about greetings from different countries. And we talk about culture is important. Everyone's culture is important. So I love the idea of them taking that and saying, oh, okay, now what's our word? That's the point of all of this. It's expanding on that. And I think that's an awesome idea. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone. Ann, Lahela, thank you so much. Lahela, please don't ever lose the passion. That emotion is what makes it real for all of us. So thank you so much for sharing this.
Mahalo.
And
yes, thank you.
We're glad you were able to present to us, and we will be definitely in touch. Again, Aloha Publishing Hawaii, .com. going to add that part. And there's contact information and everything there. And of course, if anyone wants to get in touch with me, Joy, anyone, we can always get you contact information for the other folks that are here. But I very much appreciate everyone's time. And it was great to have a group from all around the country. I think this was wonderful. So thanks, Joy, for organizing that as well. Any final thoughts from anyone?
Yeah, I would like to. I'll contact Joy to find out how to get the money to you folks.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day. I think we had a good start to the day, and let's go make it a positive one.
Aloha.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Thank you. Woo.
Thank you, Lahela.
All right.